They should be able to see you pretty easy.
Are we recording?
Yeah, we're already recording.
Okay.
What is going on, Lake Pro Tackle fam? Hope you're having a good day. Jazz hands, everyone. Jazz hands. We've got an audience behind us, so this is like a little live seminar going on. Here with my man, John Shin. He is going to be showing us how he rigs the 6-inch whale. It's not a new swim bait, but it's something that you've stumbled upon. Just a killer bite. Absolutely killer bite. You're doing something not a lot of people are doing. And we're going to learn from you today. You're going to take the reins.
Let's talk about the bait first, right? The 6-inch whale. So 6 Sense came out with the whale long ago. A few years ago.
Right.
And they didn't have a 6-inch. They had like a 4-inch.
4.5.
Yeah. And I wasn't a fan of that 4.5.
Yeah.
It's because of the material. I didn't like how stiff the bait was.
Hangover material.
Right.
Yep.
Right. And then my first exposure to the 6-inch whale was Peter Hustler. Follow him. My Chaotic Fishing. He showed me the 6-inch whale for the first time, and I was like, "It's just a whale. I don't want to fish it."
Right. Knock off mag.
Yeah. Right. Now I don't. My brain doesn't operate that way. Like even when I see like the Berkeley Cold Shad or when I see the dangerous
swim bait.
I don't think like mag draft knockoff. I'm just like, it's been done. But is it any better?
Yeah, is it changed?
Right, does it do anything different, right?
Like, does it not roll at high speeds, or is it, crawl?
And he gave me, it's in this exact color, which is the Clearwater Rose, okay? The 6-inch whale. And I felt the bait, I was like, oh, it's softer.
Right. More pliable, a little easier to work.
So I originally, when he gave it to me, I rigged it on a BKK Titan Driver underspin.
Yep.
And I put it in the water. And I immediately, even on underspin with a spring lock head, I could see the head wobble.
Nice.
The body roll, the tail kick. I was like, this thing. The first thing that came to, because you know how I love underspins.
Yeah.
Or not underspins, but line throughs.
Yeah, line throughs.
The first thing that came to mind was this thing would destroy as a line through.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I waited. I don't know, just because like I was already on I was catching them on glide baits and stuff at the time.
Yeah, definitely like a gizzard bite.
Yeah, so I waited until this shad spawn to experiment with it and actually went through and went through like 45 different versions of it trying to make it into a line through. Once I got the weight distribution and all the angle of the line, the entry and all that down, this bait is insane. It feels like a jackhammer coming through the water.
Right.
I mean, it hits so hard. And the body roll.
Give me that other pack over there. I'll open it up here.
It stands out. It stands out as now. I fished every line through known to man. Okay, we're talking Rising Suns, Ospreys, just all of them. Okay, and I've made other baits into line throughs. None have I enjoyed fishing more than this one, and that's saying a lot.
That's saying a lot because I mean I know how many you fish and you love the Rising Sun.
Yeah, considering I've caught 2 double digits on a Rising Sun, right? And my former PB smallmouth came on a Rising Sun,
right?
And so I love that bait, right? And up until I did this, I was like, that's the best line through.
So would you say? I guess in your rigging here, what would you rate this in terms of level of easiness to do this modification? Is it really easy or like
super high end tools?
Okay,
I have them right here.
Yeah.
It's a toothpick and a straw.
Okay, so very complicated. So
it's scissors.
And scissors. Okay, but setting it up overall, it's still pretty simple. It's not complicated.
It is, but you have to be very cautious about how you drill the hole because it needs to line up straight. Like if you drill it in sideways, it's gonna roll.
It's tilting, rolling.
And then of course when you do the nail weight inserts, it's important because if your nail weights are positioned wrong, it distributes the weight. Yeah. So
I got you.
So it'll roll to one side more than the other, right?
Okay. Yep.
So placement is key. But aside from that, this thing, in the beginning, it'll take you a minute, but after you've made like 300 of them like I have.
So you can order like 10 packs at lakeprotackle.com and just stock up on them so you don't, if you mess up a couple times.
Which y'all should.
We just got them in.
Yeah. Like I was like, why haven't y'all gotten them in? And then they finally got them in, so.
Yeah, they've been hard to get. 6-inch is definitely harder to work with in terms of getting stuff because, I mean, we're buying against the consumer, normal consumer. which is pain for us sometimes. But we are happy to get these in. I think we've got 3 or 4 colors, kind of just like any.
The best colors.
Yeah, I mean the best colors. John loves them. Pete loves them. So I guess let's go ahead and talk about rigging this up, and then go into more about your rod reel setup, your line setup, kind of how you like to fish it overall.
So let's talk about nail weights, right? Or Nico weights, nail weights, whatever you can get your hands on. Typically, they come in like 1/16, 1/32, 3/32, 1/32. So you can actually rig this bait for multiple different depths and sink weights, right? So they come in a pack of 3. This is what I do personally. I'll rig one slow sink to ride high, mid, and low.
And I love how they are a pack of 3, especially with clamshells, mainly because you can stick the tails back in there and they're not getting all junked up. You know, kind of like 316 did with their single packs on their Rising Suns.
Keep the clamshell.
Keep the packs, absolutely.
It's imperative. And the cool thing is, after you're done rigging them all up as line throughs, they go right back in.
You don't have a hook. Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And when it comes to hooks for a bait this size, the 6-inch size of a swim bait, I prefer a size 1 or a 1/0 treble. It depends on the company. I use Ryugi Brutal trebles. Or you can use Owner ST35 size 1/0. I don't like the ST35 for line through swim baits. And the reason for that is because the 90-degree orientation, you're missing. There's a bite gap. Okay, so when they're coming up from underneath it, you kind of want that hook to hang below the side fins, right? Those lateral fins. This bait has fins, stabilizer fins, okay? And you want the hook points to ride below that. Now, when you start fishing this time, it's like, or after a while, you're gonna start pulling that hook up and kind of like eating up the meat a little bit,
going
right?
Straight through.
And eventually, what'll happen is your treble hook will kind of ride up high in the bait, and these fins could get in the way, especially on a hook like a ST35 that has the 90-degree orientation, right?
Yeah,
or the 180-degree orientations, rather. So I like them. I like, and round bends. Now, if you have only largemouth in your fishery,
should be
EWG
totally
is fine.
Yeah, EWG is fine, absolutely.
Or O'Shaughnessy is fine. But if you have largemouth, spots, and smallmouth, I think it's important to use a round bend. Okay, and especially during shad spawn, which is what we're doing now, they will swipe at your bait a lot.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're going to kill. So I mean, that's the only thing in their mind. They see a bait and they're like, I gotta go, just slap it.
Yeah. So use a round bend treble if you do have those types of situations, and if not, EWG's foot is fine. But as far as rigging this bait goes, I mean, it's legitimately a wooden toothpick, okay? Now, when you line this up, I'm going to show this camera right here.
Yeah, one sec. Let me double check the camera, make sure everything is actually in focus.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still tracking.
Okay. So the bait has a recessed nose. You see that?
Yep.
The bait has a recessed nose. And what I like about this bait is that the hollowed out cavity for the hook is not super shallow, and it's not too deep either. There's a lot of meat left on top of the bait, okay? So I insert the nail weight going down into from the nose down.
So you don't go from the back up.
No.
Okay, interesting.
So you find, and also, let me show you let me just pin this in, okay? Just like that. This is how it's gonna go in, okay? Now, you notice that angle? Yeah, it is a narwhal. So I start a little bit higher than center, okay? Start a little bit higher than center, and it's gonna go in a downward angle. And let's an easy way to do this.
You've almost gotta like look at it like straight yourself, so that way the toothpick isn't going off any.
In the mold, there's a line that goes down.
Oh, there's a seam line on it. Yep. So you can follow the line. I see. Yeah. I got you.
So it's not as hard as, you don't have to be like super like steady hands or anything like that. So I've done this a lot. So I can kind of,
line it up for yourself. You know what to do. And I guess it's also important because you are sticking, you're sticking the straw where that toothpick is going, or you're sticking the nail weight there?
So no, this straw is for the straw, or the nail is for the straw.
Gotcha.
Okay, so here we go. We're going to go straight through. Boom. Okay. It's in, right? And all this straw does, see that angle? How it comes out? It's not straight in, okay? It comes down at a slight angle.
Into the cavity.
Yeah. Now, you get your straw, and this is another thing, especially on clear baits like this. This color is, what is it called? Ghost ice minnow?
Ice minnow, something like that.
Yeah. On a color like ghost ice minnow, okay? That clear, translucent, and swim bait. Now, you can do this line through modification on just about any swim bait, okay? It's not just this one, okay? And these red straws,
they show through the bait pretty well, huh?
yeah, wait till you see this, okay? Wait till you see this.
So I know we've talked about too, and especially like glide baits and stuff on the joints, like red joints, definitely triggers.
Red fins.
Yep.
It's a triggering mechanism. I think it really makes the bass key in.
The fish see red.
Right. So what I'm gonna do with this straw is actually I'm gonna cut it at an angle.
Make it a little pointy.
Right. To make it like pointy like that. Okay.
Yep.
And then we're gonna go
rocket science here.
Thread it straight through that toothpick.
Absolutely.
Now, what the toothpick does is not only did it drill the hole out, it guides your straw down so it doesn't kink while it's in there. This isn't like super hardcore like PVC plastic.
Yeah,
you know? It's just a coffee straw. Now you can use like a WD-40 straw or something that's
something
like
a little
more sturdy.
stiff.
Yeah, if you have access to that kind of stuff. If you really want to like take it to the next level, you're gonna kind of have to jimmy it in though.
Yeah, kind of twist it just a little bit, kind of like a drill.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I see the toothpick definitely push through a little bit as you're going.
Okay. So there you go.
Okay, yeah. So the toothpick submerged itself a little bit deeper into the cavity as you pushed, but you know what it's also doing, I guess, is you're basically creating a whole channel for that straw. So you're not just pushing material out; you're removing some material.
And you pull the straw out, and when you pull that straw out, that plastic that you drilled through comes out.
Yep.
And there it is. Okay.
Okay, sweet.
There it is. Now it's hollow. Now, if you don't pull that out, you're gonna have problems inserting your line. Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna be choked. The straw's gonna be choked up with plastic, right?
Yep.
Then you get a pair of scissors. Cut it right at the nose. And there it is. There's your line through. Okay. Now, see how much that red stands out? It's wild, right? Now, nail weights. We have an assortment of nail weights here, okay? Standard sink rates. Now, when you rig this with 3 32nd ounce, okay, nail weight in the front of the bait, and a 1 32nd ounce nail weight in the back of the bait, it turns it into a pretty moderate sink.
Okay. Yeah, about a foot?
No. It'll fall...
Foot and a half?
It'll fall a foot a second.
Okay, yeah.
It'll fall a foot a second. And the way that I have this thing with the line insert positioned, this bait does not want to automatically float up when you reel.
Right,
it'll
stay. It's at an angle to where when you're reeling, it's in line and it's not directly pulling.
It's not pulling it straight up.
Right.
Okay? Nor is it pulling it down. But this is a pretty good orientation. Anyway, we're gonna go with the standard, my favorite weighing system, which is a 3 32nd ounce. Now this is a VMC Nico weight, okay? It's not actually a nail weight. I mean, it is technically a nail weight.
It's a nail weight, yeah.
But they call it the Nico weight.
I mean, could you use like actual nails?
Yeah.
Yeah, anything, just kind of...
I like it because I know exactly what it weighs, right?
Right,
like if I just bite off nails, I have no idea what the weight of those nails
100%.
are. Now, here's the important part. See how I left that gap between the straw and the belly of the bait?
Yep. So you want to leave almost like, I guess, quarter of an inch above the belly of the bait here.
Room for the nail weight to go in without, with leaving a little bit of plastic between the straw.
Right,
okay?
right.
You don't
You've
want
got to sandwich the nail weight.
You don't want the nail weight to technically sit right underneath the straw.
Right, because then it has more of a chance to tilt, I guess, on itself.
So when you insert this, make sure this goes in line.
Yep.
I like these VMCs because, they're lead, so they're cheaper than tungsten.
Yep.
Right?
And they're also ribbed enough to stay in.
You don't have to glue them or anything. The plastic will bite on it. And I will tell you another thing. Hold on a second here. I got to actually look at this while I'm doing it.
What weight? What weight?
3 32nd.
I just got those.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
There
it is.
You go.
See how it sits underneath the straw? I don't know if you see that.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty close. Yeah, that's probably good. Yeah.
Okay, that's important. Now, the butt of the Nico weight is kind of sticking out. That's okay. It doesn't have to go all the way in.
That's plenty of plastic to hold a nail weight.
I will tell you, I have not once had this nail weight slip and fall out and I've caught now several 4 to 5 pound class smallmouth, 6 pound smallmouth, several largemouth up to 7.5
And the
pounds.
smallmouth you're catching too are like extra pissed.
Yeah.
They're not normal smallmouth. They're
And
like
striper, dude. How many striper have I caught in this? And if this thing holds up to striper, that's the ultimate test.
well, it's nice because it's line through, so they're not
Right.
directly impacting the bait
Right.
as well. So
And I will tell you all this: the straw sometimes will slide up and down in that plastic as it gets wet. And I also like to lube up my baits, as you know, with bait fuel or
Bait pop
Bass Dynasty or whatever.
yeah.
Right. So what I do is when I insert that straw, before I go all the way through, I actually put a layer of PVC glue or mend it and then put it in.
okay,
And
so it melts around it, like
and it
creates a
holds it.
tighter seal. Cool.
Be good.
Yeah. And so that's part one of your weighing. Now, on the back of the bait, if you weigh it just like this, it has a tendency, it still works
Should
good.
rise pretty well without the back one.
Yeah, exactly. I can keep it down better at a, like if I want to work this at 7 feet,
Right.
having that tail nail weight allows me to control the depth without it rising or falling too fast.
Do you find if you add a nail weight in the back, obviously you've got to move that nail weight. It's going to impact a little bit of the
No.
thump. Is there much impact on it, or no?
None whatsoever.
Okay,
I'm going to
cool.
show you how to put it in to make sure that you don't jeopardize the integrity of the action.
Okay, and what weight is this again?
This is 1/32.
Okay, so you got a 3/32 in the front and 1/32 in the back.
Easy to remember, right? And
Yep.
that's just for standard balancing. Like you can go with as heavy as a 1/8 ounce tungsten in the nose of the bait,
Right.
or as heavy as like a 1/16 in the back of the bait.
Yeah, and
you
of
know?
course we always push our viewers to go tinker with things.
Right,
Don't just
right.
let Daddy tell you how to do things. Go play for yourself.
So if you look at the bait, you can see where the body cavity ends.
Yep.
Right here, right? That's what I guess the anus of the swim bait, right? That's where it's at. Now, you want to insert this smaller nail weight as close as you can to the outside edge of this bait without
So
ripping it.
lay it as flat as you can to the bottom without. Okay. So
'Cause if you
would
go-
you would you
yeah.
say would you use a toothpick to bore it out if you
Nope.
want to get it close?
You can, but I've done this so much that it's almost second nature. And I will
Gotcha.
tell you, the thinner the nail weight, the better.
Okay, so you might use tungsten in these cases
You
if it's a thin
can.
tungsten.
All manufacturers are different,
Right.
Like the nail weights. What was this? Yeah, VMC makes a 1/32. That's incredibly
Super thin. Like toothpick
super,
thin.
yeah, super thin. Okay, so if you want to go and order those, that's fine too. But this works too. This is not bad.
No,
You
no,
can-
not
you
at
know.
all. I mean, you can see it, but
And this is how you want it to sit. See how low it sits in the body of the bait? See how it
Yep.
sits just
Yep.
above the meat and there's no exposure? This will also never rip out as long as you're using the grooved nail weights, not the smooth ones. If you use the smooth ones, they
They'll
have a
shoot out.
tendency. Yeah.
yep.
But these grooved ones bite down.
John, do you, on the straw, do you flange the tip of the?
I cut.
No.
He cuts a point in it.
No, where on the point, but where the line comes out of the tip of the worm. Do you?
Mm.
I know I've seen people make it round, like they flange it out.
Oh, like a
Oh,
rivet?
no.
No.
On some baits you can.
Flare the nail, flare
You
it out.
can, but look at the way the nose of this bait is designed. It's got
It's
it
all
cut.
flat. Yep.
Okay.
So that when the straw is sitting flat inside the bait, there's so much plastic still that acts like as a
Yeah.
buffer. That will never happen. And I cut my straws really close. I don't have them like sticking way out. But just this is that Ghost Ice minnow with the red straw weight like this. If you have this works in stained water too. The blue
Yeah,
glitter. in
I
this,
love the ghost part about it is when you hold it up to the shade, it becomes almost opaque, and when you hold it up to the sun, it almost becomes translucent, which is really like a duality in a lot of baits that you don't find. But yeah, like you were saying, the blue color in
clear
here,
water.
Just-
It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's glows.
blue bait pop. We've talked about it.
Right. Like when you have a shad spawn and you're competing against millions of the real thing,
Yeah.
this color stands out. It's very similar,
Close.
but it stands out, and I believe that's why I've been so successful fishing things like a shad spawn with this color. Now, if you have a little bit more stained water,
Clearwater rose.
Clearwater rose is a
Yep.
really good color, but this is also a good color in clean water
Super
too.
clean water.
Yeah.
I know at Ivy, the 6 Sense, just normal divine swim bait, Clearwater Rose was what they were throwing.
Yeah.
Same thing. You hold it up, I mean, right here in the shade, like I'm sure the big camera can pick it up. It's very opaque on
Yes.
this camera,
Yep.
but we're looking through it towards the light, and you can almost see straight through the thing.
It's opaque enough to where when you put a red straw in, you can see the red.
Right.
Right. Now,
Absolutely.
Now that platinum white one,
Yep.
you can't see the red straw. Okay.
Gotcha.
And it's not that platinum white. I like that white, especially when I'm fishing stained water because it has gold flake in it.
Yeah.
So platinum is like white gold mixed with yellow gold.
See,
That's how
I
you make
also
platinum,
think
you know?
I also think that if your water is dirty enough to where you're throwing platinum white, it probably doesn't matter that much.
Right. Right.
Wouldn't you say?
Right.
I mean,
In overcast conditions, high wind conditions, you can actually, go to town and get really artsy with these baits. Add some chartreuse, have some spike it. I carry like the entire
Rainbow
lineup of spike it markers, right?
Yep.
I'll add blue if I need to. I've gone as far as coloring the entire back of this bait blue.
wow.
To just make it pop a little bit more under certain lighting conditions.
Right.
And then obviously the tail and the fins,
Yep.
chartreuse
Yep.
and orange.
Make
But
it look real.
yeah, I mean, it doesn't look real at all, but it stands out.
Yeah, 100%.
So this is it right here,
From that
guys.
to that.
Yeah.
Right there. I mean, honestly, like just straight up looking at these two, with like a beast hook or something like that in this one, you can tell this is just so much more low profile.
More
Adding
natural.
that red straw in there, and we talked earlier off camera about like a white straw or like any
Yep.
other colored straws. If you need it more natural, you can use a white straw. It won't show up at all. But honestly, that bottom keeled nail weight there on each side, it is just so low profile. The fish, I mean, looking up at it, they probably won't even notice it. They're looking at everything else going on with the bait.
Well, the way this bait swims, it's got so much head wobble and roll.
Right.
Like they could be looking up at it, but as it's rolling,
shifting.
Yeah, and it's such an exaggerated movement. Like I mean, it really does feel like a chatterbait coming through the water. Dude,
Yeah.
like this bait is so soft that I think I could wacky rig this and catch fish on it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Is
but
there? Oh, one thing. 6 Sense. I know 6 Sense does have different types of plastic for each like color they have. Like this one here, is this one softer than Clearwater Rose or the other Platinum White?
yeah, the platinum white is definitely more stiff.
Okay.
The platinum white is definitely more stiff. Clearwater rose is still pretty soft.
Yep.
Like these two, like you feel it.
Yeah, I mean they're
Yeah.
almost dead similar.
Very similar.
I think this one is still a little softer. I think
Yeah.
just because the added glitter. But yeah, very very similar. Super.
But the platinum is definitely a little bit more stiff, but the action is still good on that platinum. Okay, it's really exaggerated. If I'm fishing for striper, I would almost prefer throwing the platinum just
Right, a
because
little
it doesn't
tougher.
get destroyed.
Right.
Yeah. That being said, as soft as this bait is, man, I don't. Usually, one line through will get me through the day.
Yeah, that's good.
Usually. But if I'm on one of those ridiculous bites like I was on like last week, or was it 2 weeks ago, where I literally busted over 20 bass. Over 20 bass in a 3-hour session, and I think the smallest one was like 3.5 pounds. They range
Wow.
from 3.5 to 7 pounds.
Well, when you put it in perspective too, I mean that amount of plastic is less than what 2-3 Cincos.
Yo, it's $10 for a 3-pack.
Yeah, it's insane.
One line through like 6.75 like Rising Sun is what, $20?
$28.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on.
Do the math, guys. Come on.
A toothpick and a straw, yo. I got those from, I literally took those from a gas station on my way here. But the nail weights are cheap too. What are these, like $4 or $5?
$4
Yeah.
for a pack of like 10 or something like that.
Yeah, and that
tungsten obviously a little more.
Right, and tungsten is a more dense metal, so you can actually get it to sink a little bit faster.
Yep.
Right? And they're smaller profile, so you can go heavier while not sacrificing all that meat.
Yep.
As far as line choice, that also affects obviously the
Right.
depth you can swim this in.
Thicker line, shallower it runs. Yep.
Also, if you go below 14-pound test fluorocarbon, because the line diameter is so thin, like if you're using these standard coffee straws like I just showed you, it will rip through. Okay, 12-pound will rip through this relatively quickly. 14 and up is okay. I throw mine on, actually, this setup right here, Diwazillion SVG. Okay, 6.3 to 1 is what I throw this on.
Yeah.
With
SVTWG. Yeah. Okay. Six speed.
yes, on a 6.3 to 1.
Interesting. So
and-
is there a reason you don't go to the 7 speed?
Yeah, I can always sometimes I have to slow down because when you're in a crazy situation like a shad spawn, you don't know when it's gonna pop off. If it's not, a lot of times it's not. It's a lot of like dull periods of like trash fish coming in, and then when the bass come in, you kind of want to slow. Bass don't like it burned.
Right.
You know, that you kind of need to slow it down for them and dummy it down for them. Striper will maul it if you're going at Mach 1. It doesn't matter.
Right. 100%.
Smallmouth sometimes too, but I use 14-pound shooter. 14-pound straight fluorocarbon sunline shooter. It doesn't matter what brand you use.
Yep.
You know, obviously,
14,
but your
15.
favorite. 14 to 17 is where I live.
Cool. Yeah,
Okay.
I wouldn't imagine. I mean, this bait doesn't weigh anything. I mean, we've got a
I mean,
scale.
it weighs over an ounce for sure. Like rigged like
But
this.
for like, I mean, just a rigged line through swim bait.
See what it weighs with no hook.
No hook, 1.3.
So it probably weighs 1.5 ounces, you know, with the hook. So it's still not like a super light bait, okay?
And you don't even need, I mean, we're going to go over your rod of choice here, but you don't need like a dedicated, like higher tier, like higher jig rod or anything.
No, I use a 7'5" St. Croix Max Marshall, which is a medium heavy jig rod. Okay, it's like a medium heavy plus jig rod, rated for up to about an ounce. Okay, and you can use any of those because this is a treble hook bait. You can be a little underpowered,
right?
On your rod.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean,
So-
you're not dealing with a big old 2x jig hook that
Right.
you have to drive through the fish's mouth.
But I do like a longer rod.
Of course.
Casting
distance.
Yeah, one that has a pretty forgiving tip, but has backbone through the back end, and it can't be too fast. If it shuts down on the top third of the blank, that is not good for a treble hook line through. Okay, you want it to bend past like that midpoint.
Yeah, almost
okay?
like I mean, it's treble hook, almost like a cranking rod.
Almost, yeah, but not that.
Little
soft.
more, a little more oomph behind it.
So this is the Miller Swim Freak, which we sell here, right?
Yep. I mean, your favorite arm and joint rod?
Yeah, and
TKs.
any bait, 1.5 ounce class treble hook bait. This is it. I throw the Mag Draft on this, the Tiny Clash on this, the Arma Joint on this. It's super light and balances incredibly well with any reel, really, even a 100 size reel and a 200 size reel. And it's incredibly light and it's sensitive as all hell. Sometimes, dude, like when you get a big largemouth, I'm talking like a 7-8 pound plus largemouth, eat this line through, they'll come and headshot it, just suck it in and swim right at you.
Yep.
Okay, like they don't sit there and fight the bait. They don't think, oh, I gotta kill this. This ain't nothing but a snack to a 7-pound largemouth.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
They'll fit about 6 of them in there.
Right, but if this is what they're keying in on, that's what they want, right? But what else is there? Line, rod, reel.
That's pretty well covers it.
As far as cadence goes, here's the most important thing.
Yes.
If you're just chucking and winding this bait, you're not gonna have nearly the amount of success that I do. The most important thing, especially during a shad spawn, is to break that cadence as off, like 2 or 3 handle turns. If you're moderately retrieving it, break that cadence. Pop your rod tip. Speed up that turn. Okay, quarter turn real fast. Breaking up that cadence. Because here's what happens. You notice this when you're fishing a shad spawn. What happens when you throw your bait out there? They school with it.
Yeah, they go follow.
They'll be trying to spawn on it. They'll be bumping it. When you and the fish will see that.
Yeah,
okay?
definitely.
When they see your bait schooling with other bait fish, they could get hot on it. And when you break that cadence, the little ones scatter.
Yep, and then
guess
it's
what's
just,
left? Yep, this big
ta-da!
swim bait.
Yep,
They're
big meal.
Every time they're gonna smoke it. But if you're just reeling it all the way back to the boat or kayak or bank or however
You
you,
won't
fish,
not get bit.
you
But you won't be as successful.
you won't stand out nearly as much.
Yep,
Okay.
100%.
And that is most people that just chuck and wind. You're the ones that are getting short struck a lot. Okay, they're swiping at your bait a lot. They're not keying in on it and zoned in on it. You have to stand out. That's what we mean. When I say stand out, I don't mean just profile wise, color wise. I mean you have to stand out physically. Okay, your bait has to pop, right? And so when you've got 20, 30 other shad swimming with your bait, all of a sudden you break the cadence. And the shad bolt and your bait is there.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you, 99% of the time, that's when I get hit.
Yep.
99% of the time. So you have to remember that. Rod positioning, if you hold your rod high, of course the bait rides high.
Yep.
If you point your rod straight at the bait, it'll maintain its depth fairly well, especially the way that I showed you. If you lower your rod, you'll be able to fish deeper and keep it down deeper.
Yeah.
I've successfully fished this bait, and we've watched it on scope down at about 10 to 12 feet.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
This bait does not stand out well in scope. But the platinum does. I don't know why. It's plastic density or something.
Yeah.
It's the opaqueness of the plastic.
Or something,
and
yeah.
metal
I don't
flake
know.
in it.
Yeah. Oh, maybe. Yeah, that's what it is. So the platinum stands out really well on live scope. This color doesn't. But I successfully fished it in 10 to 12 feet. the platinum one. This one you could, I just couldn't see this that good on the scope is what I'm saying. But yeah, this is a really fun bait to fish, and it's not just a shad spawn bait, fellas. I'm telling you,
all year round,
all year long, but especially during the shad spawn, and then again in the fall.
Would you say this is more effective in summer or winter?
Summer.
Being as how it's a very pliable bait. Would you think it just thumps too hard for winter?
No. I think that's a fallacy. I think that whole idea of must use a wedge tail bait in the winter is a fallacy.
Yep.
I also believe that it's a fallacy because in Texas we don't see 39-degree water often.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, so we do, but we don't really. I think it's important to understand that these bass aren't as smart as they're smarter than some people think, but they're not as smart as we think.
Yeah.
If they see this, I don't care if it's like the Rising Sun is a boot tail.
Right.
And I fished it in the dead of winter and caught 10, 11 pounders. In the dead of winter. Like I'm talking February, coldest winter. Right? Yeah. This is the same thing. Okay. Now the action is really exaggerated. Like when you when you guys go and rig this thing up and you go and fish it, you're gonna look at it because without fail, every single person that's seen it, when they see it in the water, they're like, holy Jesus.
Right.
It's that wild. This is also not a trophy. This is not what I consider a trophy bass bait. Mm-hmm. Okay.
This is smack drift.
This is a tournament caliber swim bait.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you can load the boat with this bait. I don't care what scenario, what lake you're on. I don't care if your lake has nothing but 2 to 4 pounders. You can load the boat with this bait right now. And if you have 8, 9, 10 pounders in your lake, this will definitely get them too.
A little snack for them.
Yeah. So don't be afraid to fish it. I know it's 6 inches. Some people 1.5 ounces are like, shoot, that's heavy. I don't have a rod that'll throw 1.5 ounces because it's not rated to 1. You don't need that.
Like, honestly, you could throw it on like a 7-foot medium heavy.
Yep.
You'd be
100%. 100%. Don't cock back and send it like, you know, and snap your wrist when you cast. Okay, just lob
it out there.
And it's heavy. It'll fly. You know, especially on 14-pound tested, I can get 50, 60 yards with this thing.
Spool the thing, I'm sure.
Yeah. So fish it fearlessly. Pick them up at Lake Roll Tackle. We just got them in stock. These are nail weights. I got them off the shelf. They got them here. Okay? Yep. So these are actually baits that I'm probably gonna take home. The rose, Clearwater rose, and this right here.
Yep.
My favorite color is obviously this because I fish super clear water.
Hey, you want to do this? We can do like a demo thing. We can sell a pack of these, put it up on there, so they can buy them all pre-rigged like that.
Somebody buy it pre-rigged?
Yeah, we could do that.
Do like
unless you want to take it. I mean, you put all the work into rigging it. I'm just saying, if someone wants to not have the hassle and have John rig all their swim baits, they can do that.
I guess we could do that.
All right.
We can do 1 pack like that, and it'll be you know what?
Single pack.
We'll do 1 pack like that, and we'll just give it to a random person. Okay.
Do a giveaway.
Maybe we'll do a giveaway. We'll see.
Okay, I guess we'll do a giveaway.
Yeah. Okay.
Whatever. I'll just do a giveaway. That's fine.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Here's what we're going to do. John's going to rig up a pack of these for y'all. We're going to be posting on Instagram that you can enter a giveaway by tagging some friends in the comment section. Make sure you're following us. Leave a like on the post. Very simple stuff, guys. If you're already following along, you know we just did a really big giveaway. That was over like $250 worth of stuff. So little giveaway going on here. Make sure to be on the lookout on the Instagram or Facebook to enter. And we appreciate y'all tuning in. Thank you, John, for coming by. And we'll see you next time, guys.
Peace.